I paid $4,500 for a Bedouin. In my head, it was supposed to shine. But what I brought home was different. A crooked steering wheel, a weak chassis, the EPS failing again and again. The hood cracked open, crossbars missing, mirrors mismatched. It looked broken, forgotten. Yet one thing remained solid, the main frame. And that was enough to start the journey of bringing it back to life. The shocks were cracked, the rear wiper had a mind of its own. The exhaust sprayed water. Proof the burn was fine, but the smoke was heavy. The catalytic converter, long gone. Weld marks told their own story. Panels rusted, gaps uneven, clips out of place. Every detail whispered, this car had lived a hard life. Yet even here in the mess of broken parts, I saw the first sparks of a comeback. Plants were already growing inside the car, nature reclaiming metal. The lines were straightened, but the front panel had cracked from old repairs. We scraped it down, sanded, brought it back. The rear hatch opened to a motor that had been fixed before, but never right. We pulled it out, leaving the holes open for a true repair. Every layer revealed the past, and the chance to start fresh. Every dent on the body was sanded down, filled and smoothed, again and again, until the surface was ready for new color. With the exterior prepped, it was time to move inside. Seats came out first, then the floor mats, and even the homemade armrest. Piece by piece, the car was being stripped down, ready to be reborn. We stripped out the storage box, gone. Then the door panels, ready for a new two-tone design. On the driver's side, the window switch came out, spilling a pile of old coins, almost enough to pay the repair bill. The spare tire followed, along with a trunk full of forgotten tools. Every piece removed pulled the car closer to its second life. The seats came out next, heavy, wrapped in worn leather. The rear bench was twice the weight of the front, but it too was lifted away. With the cabin bare, we moved to the dash. The AC controls gone. The radio pulled out, making way for a big screen upgrade. Even the gear shifter was removed. Bit by bit, the old car was being stripped down to its bones, ready for its rebirth. We cleared out the center console, stripped the shifter trim, making room to pull the dash. It came down to just a few screws, but it still took a steady hand and a bit of courage. The dash panel came free, the steering column dropped, bolts loosened one by one. The truth was clear. The steering had been broken all along. Power assist long gone. After the full teardown, we found the car had once carried original NSK parts, even the motor. But now everything had been swapped, bad parts bolted in just to keep it running. The body computer was failing too, so we replaced it, along with the steering computer, giving the car back its brain. The seals were fine, but the plastic panels had aged, brittle, worn, ready to be replaced. We pulled them out, then lifted the carpets. At first, we thought about swapping them for new ones, but to save money, we cleaned them instead. Underneath, the padding showed signs of water damage, yet it held together. Piece by piece, the interior came apart until it was time for a deep wash. We scrubbed every inch we could reach. Clips came off slowly, the old plastic brittle after so many years. One wrong move, and it would snap. We pulled the spark plug cover, finding signs of oil seeping from the valve cover. Each layer we removed revealed more of the engine's hidden story. Decay, but also the chance to set things right. We replaced the valve cover gasket and scraped away the sludge inside. Years of grime had locked everything tight, so every move had to be careful. One slip, and brittle plastic or connectors could snap. The ignition wires still held strong, the craftsmanship surprisingly solid. We pulled the dipstick free, and then came today's main act, the valve cover itself. The factory sealant was still there, each joint marked with glue. But when we pulled the valve cover, the truth spilled out. Thick, black sludge coated everything. Oil baked in for years, stuck so hard it couldn't be scraped by hand. Without proper tools, it was like uncovering a time capsule of neglect. The cleanup wasn't perfect, but good enough. Every joint, every corner, tightened with care. Screws turned slowly, pressure balanced from the center out. The spark plugs were next, pulled and replaced with originals. The old ones showed heavy wear, each scar a reminder of how long this engine had been waiting for its second chance. New NGK plugs replaced the worn-out old ones. The difference was night and day. We tightened them carefully, no extra force, just enough. The dipstick went back in, the cover closed, and with that, the work was nearly done. After all the grime, all the broken parts, the car was finally ready to breathe again. We cleaned the throttle body, reassembled the plastics, and dropped the air filter back in. The engine bay was finally complete. Then came the new lights, 4 sets, each one needing hundreds of holes drilled and wires threaded. The first attempt was a mess, tangled knots everywhere. By 3:35 in the morning, we had no choice but to start over. Threading the Starlight ceiling was all about rhythm, splitting the fibers into groups, like braiding hair. Once grouped, it was easy. Each strand fixed in place with hot glue, the roof tapped down tight. Then came soundproofing, a fresh layer sealing it all in. For our first time, it wasn't perfect. But when the lights came on, the effect was magic, and that was enough. Next came the bodywork. We wrapped it in a 2-tone finish, white on top, orange below. To save money, every panel was covered using leftover scraps of film. The dividing line was traced, taped, and cut by hand, a test of patience and precision, each stroke of the blade shaping the car's new identity. Cutting the wrap was delicate, sharp enough to slice the film, careful enough not to scar the paint. The only flaw was a slight color mismatch on the driver's door, but it didn't matter. The car's old look was gone. Now it stood with a white roof and orange body, bold and bright. And just like the modern cars, it had comfort entry, an NFC card, a fingerprint reader, even a backup if the phone died. The upgrades didn't stop at the paint. The dashboard was wrapped in 2-tone, the steering swapped for solid white wood. Door panels reupholstered, seatbelts dyed to match the body. Even the old radio was gone, replaced with a wide screen. The pillars and roof were trimmed tight, Starlight scattered above. Piece by piece, the car was transformed. And now, it was time to see the final result.